Hold on, we're about to be live right here, so we're live
What
right
up,
now.
y'all?
Actually,
What up, y'all? It's Rap Latte. King Green, Toure, Young James is in the building.
Yeah.
we got some songs for the revolution, which is also the name of the not upcoming album from Toure. He's dropping a political R&B album.
I saw that. That's hilarious.
But anyways,
Yo, if I could do anything in the studio, I would be a rapper. My heart is in MCing. I would not be a singer. It would not.
For real?
It doesn't mean anything.
But you look like Eric Benet.
You know, it's funny. I've heard that for many years, and I'll tell you something funny. Right? I did a story on Halle Berry for USA Weekend like 20 years ago, and she was like, "You look like Eric," and she was married to Eric then, and she kept saying, "You look so much like Eric," and she would like touch your hand or she'd like pinch your neck, and you'd be like, "What the fuck? You can't be saying I look like Eric and be flirty." And then we went to Eric's daughter, and the first thing Hallie said was like, "Doesn't he look like Daddy?" And she was like, "Yeah, he actually does." Like, it was weird. But
you do that.
Also, a lot of people have said that I look like Butterfly from Diggable Planets.
Okay, a little bit. But more like.
But I'm not.
But
if I could get in the studio and rock on a mic, I would fucking rap. I would never fucking sing.
He's like, I would never sing. That's for punks. This man trapped in the 80s.
It's not my heart. It's not where my heart would be if I could if I could be a musician, I would be like De La Soul. If I had the ability to make music, I would rap and try to communicate in that way. Like when I first encountered De La Soul, I would already been a hip hop fan for years and years, but I was like, oh, this is me in this form. This is what I am. That makes sense. The collage of it all, the jokes, the seriousness, the thoughtfulness, the headiness. We're suburban and we're not embarrassed about that. All that shit, all that shit. That's who I am. That's how I would be.
That's the beauty of De La, man. But we got James here today, our younger brother. He done amazing breakdowns on the halftime show on Instagram. So make sure you guys follow James on Instagram. Give him your Instagram real quick.
It's JFMUSIX. So JFMUSIC, but with an X at the end.
Yeah.
Don't watch my breakdown.
So he's done best breakdown on Instagram. And he also just right now, which I didn't watch the whole thing, gave his thoughts about some sexy songs for you.
That's not the name of the album. That's
what
not
is
the
it?
name of the
what
album.
is it?
The name
What's
of
the
the
name
album
of
is Some Shitty Songs for You. That's the name of the album. We have to be honest. Hold on. I want to hear about Some Shitty Songs for You. And I would love for you to try to explain to me that there is a banger. I do want to touch on this Drake story real quick because this is serious. This is It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Okay. Let the people know what's going on.
Look it up on put up on the screen, Green, the first one, because right now somebody tweeted, it's on Reddit. People are saying Aubrey caught in 4K having a minor delivered to him. This is 2023, a 17-year-old girl, high school junior, Instagramming about a party that she went to with Drake, invited by Drake.
This is what she said.
After party vibes when you legit hug Drake and hold hands and you had a whole convo. You know what that means. He's 38 and he's having a date with a 17-year-old. And it's not the first time we've heard about behavior like that. And if you really think it's just dates with attractive 17-year-olds who want him, that's crazy. And it just goes to the notion of not like us, it's not a wild shot in the dark. It's an informed conversation about this is who this nigga really is.
That's the way I like this conversation in general, because like
Yeah.
it could be seen as gossip. This whole thing is just like this person saying this, that, but no, we have images of somebody who we know is in high school who's at your little after party situation talking about holding hands and hugging you, and another one saying that, like, I don't, now I know I'm hot, like proof that I'm hot.
Yeah,
That was
that
crazy.
is
Because Drake
insane.
likes me. Like
That's a crazy statement. So that statement is when people are talking about Kendrick is going too far. We're talking about a battle and lyrical. When Kendrick goes far, if I see this, and I made this analogy earlier, like if I'm battling James and I have someone has a video online on Reddit of James in public taking a crap and wiping his butt with like a magazine, and then I spit and say, "Yo, shitty James," and I start calling him shitty James and stuff like that. You can't get mad at me for calling you shitty James because this is on the internet, shitty James.
But niggas is in public.
In public doing this.
After party. Holding hands with a teenage girl. And I don't care if it's legal. You could have any chick in the world you want. Why are you skirting the line with 17? Like, the fuck?
Say Drake. Say Drake.
James, what you think?
Oh, I'm so done. I'm so done. This is it's also the other side of it. It's like it's not an isolated incident. There was already the thing with the 16-year-old, which like ages ago, which was kind of the thing that sparked the whole angle that Kendrick had outside of just that, also the 17-year-old on stage. So like, I'm just like, why? You literally have access to whatever woman you want. This is so unnecessary. And it's just, yeah.
He just said he heard you like I'm young, and people are in the chat saying, Green, what the hell is that example? That's exactly.
That was a wild example. That was a wild
It's
example.
supposed to be wild. It was hyperbolic on purpose.
If you think about like, this thing, and he booked out another hotel, another restaurant for a girl to have their 18th birthday hangout or whatever, and Millie Bobby Brown and these sort of things. And it feels like he's like R. Kelly with finesse. Like he's just smarter about how he goes about the game and not just a wild rogue like R. Kelly. And I'm like, if you're just R. Kelly but smarter, that's insane.
Calling him R. Kelly but smarter is so crazy. Not that it's not true, but the fact that it can be true. No, the fact that can be true is so crazy to think about. It's like, yo, that's actually, it could be a possibility, and we don't know. But we do know that this person was there and was like, oh my God, yeah, I was allowed back here, and that I think she's only 18 now. Or 19 now, or whatever, according to whatever the information is.
I mean, this happened in 2023. I don't know.
That's 2 years ago. She was 17, so she's 19, I guess. Whatever her birthday is.
Like prior, like obviously right before the beef, it's like months before. Like Kendrick, Kendrick thought about his angle ages ago. Drake was still engaging in this behavior before he was about to drop like that. Like, is that not insane?
Very insane. It would, and back to the rap, looking into this deeper as a rap battle, and we want to also talk about like how all this battle started. But when we look at deeper into it as the rap battle, so Kendrick got this information and used that Euphoria bar to talk about how Drake said that this girl from Astoria looks like she could be in Euphoria, and he named it for that. That's crazy.
No, the information at the Kendrick level of information, the sort of things that would come to his ear, it's so well known at that level of circles that he heard a different batch of stories that probably didn't even include this one. Right? Like,
I think
these are all from men and women who hang out with Drake, right? Like Future sees it, like the chicks who fuck Future and Drake and talk to Kendrick.
I 100% agree with that. What I was saying to kind of what James was talking about. I'm saying like this is stuff that the public could find out about. So it makes it harder. I mean, it's a harder hit when everybody can say what it is. So I'm saying if he's saying like this is you put this line on your Instagram, not this line is on your Instagram talking about Girl from Astoria or Euphoria. So I'm taking that and insinuating to that right there and letting you know that I know that they know that we know. Say Drake.
Hey Drake. My God.
That also reminds me. Also, Cutthroat Business is also Drake has a photo on his Instagram with the caption saying "Cutthroat Business." I only realized this the other day. So when he's doing the whole bar, I thought he was just like obviously doing the twist bar, but he's also referencing like because it was when Drake was on tour. So when he does the whole like you and Cole are hugging on stage, like I think Kendrick is so much more like I still think there's stuff that he knows that was gonna go into that 5-pack that he's just holding on to.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You're saying he's alluding. Repeat that. You're saying he was alluding to things in Euphoria that are deeper than what he put out.
Yeah. I think there's like breadcrumbs of stuff where I'm just like, I feel like there's stuff that Kendrick knows.
There's more depth to it. I agree with that.
It's not capitalized on yet.
Because Euphoria really was a light pack. It was a light hit. It's like I hate the way you walk. I hate the way you talk, and it's like the last line of Takeover as an entire song. Like, I know things about you and I don't like you. And your music's not good. You pacify people. You know what I'm saying? It's like that as an entire song. So I agree with you that it seems like there was so much. Even Not Like Us seems like a very light. That's what my whole thing about Not Like Us. It seems like a very light thing to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Green, Ariel Smoke on the super chat said, I didn't listen to the Trafficking R&B album.
That's insane. That's insane.
Ariel Smoke, who initially tweeted you. Did you tweet about this? Can you please raise your hand if you are the person who tweeted about this? Because I do want to hear more about this story because it seemed to come out of nowhere for me, and I because I'm not in these Reddit streets like that. So to see that pop up on Twitter, I mean, like right now to have a real story about Drake doing some wild shit like this, like this is not good. We are trying to move in the other direction and like rebuild, and like this is not good. This is not good.
Let me answer to. We got another super chat, and I want to talk to Sharon. Thank you, Sharon.
For talking about the Rabo. Wait, can we get Ariel on the show to talk more about what they know? Because this is the person who tweeted about it.
If Ariel, Ariel's just got to contact us through like Instagram or something like that, and then we could give him the link. But let me read the other super chat. Ariel, hit up Toure on DM on Instagram.
Okay.
And he'll be able to look at that. Ariel raised hand like, "Yep, that's me." So the live chat plus something I want to address what Sharon was saying. Sharon said something that Euphoria was light. What the hell? Euphoria is light at the time. Looking back in hindsight, you're like, he alluded to this, and this, and this. It makes so much sense now more, and it's so deep now. At that time, after Drake dropped, what was it? What's the dropping 50 thing? I forgot what that was saying. Push-ups. After he dropped Push-ups was a blow at that time. We were like, oh, this is solid diss track. Then he comes out with Euphoria. You're like, okay, Kendrick came here and smacked him in the face, but he smacked him in the face. He didn't knock him out. I know who Kendrick is as like a tactician, and I'm thinking that Euphoria is not. It wasn't a kill shot. It just was not a kill shot. It allowed this guy to come back, and I'm thinking he's going to do a kill shot.
It's a strong record that takes time to build into its strength, and it admits I haven't bled him yet. Let me go deeper. So it builds over, but it does not end the conversation the way Not Like Us and Meet the Grams
are like. Grams ended the conversation. Yeah, Not Like Us was a period on the sentence.
You know what it's like? It's like a wrestling match, and like you like the worst thing to do would be to tap out. So you have to be like practically breaking a nigga's arm before he'll tap out. And Euphoria is not breaking his arm. Not Like Us and Meet the Grams is like, okay, I have to tap out because you're gonna fucking break my arm.
Yeah, you're gonna kill me. He's like, I'm gonna tap out, and he said, "Oh, you think you could tap out? You thought you could leave?" And he hit him with "Not Like Us." Like he's like, you thought that this was over for you just with that last one.
You know what? It's funny because I think about this today too. Obviously the battle is over with Not Like Us and Meet the Grams, or the battle is won, but it doesn't feel like it actually ended. It's just sort of gone on with this extended victory lap and Drake's extended crying about the result and the legal battle, and like it just seems to have like gone on and on and on. Like we're still in it, right? And Drake is still sniping back at him, so he's still like, oh, I'm not letting it go. Like, right? It's not over.
Yeah, I mean, you guys both talked about this a bit ago, about like rap beefs officially ending. Like, we don't really have a bookend for rap beefs. But yeah, I don't think it will ever fully like end. Like, even people were saying like Drake was not going to take any shots on this album he just dropped. I was like, it's Drake. Are we serious? There's no way. There's no way that the album he comes back with, he does no shots because he can't help himself. But yeah, I just don't think we will ever fully get like a bookend on this. We
got a winner. We always get a winner though.
We got a winner. Yeah, we got a winner.
The beef, because beef is different than rap beef versus I talk about the battle. Like the beef is like these guys like not liking each other and stuff happening that's actual beef and things that have nothing to do with the actual battle happens. And to me, I'm like, that's your problem. I'm talking about this text. And the stuff relating to the text. But we got a live chat where it says, here's a question. Will UMG lawyers use Drake's own words on the album against him, especially his whack bars on Give Me a Hug? Call it poetic justice.
Are we gonna officially talk about this album? Like, have both of you listened to it first?
I want you to talk about it.
We will talk about the album. I'm trying to find Ariel. He said he DM'd me and I don't even see it. I'm so fucking old right now.
Let's talk about the album now and you figure that out. I want to hear James's thoughts on it because I know James is a tactician and he listened to it with hate as he was dissecting it. Go ahead.
Oh no, okay. I genuinely tried to give this album a chance because I think for me the best review I could have given of this album, if it was good, is this album is good, and I hate that because I hate that it makes Drake come back and not have to be complicit in the beef. But it wasn't good. It was also not good. Yeah, I think a lot of it is the same R&B writing that Drake has been doing for the last couple of years, and I don't like the way that he writes on his newer R&B records. A lot of it is meandering and not a lot of actual structure to his writing. Outside of that, the Give Me a Hug, he's ripping off one of his own Young Thug features where he's using the same rhyme scheme, which I was like, we already did this with the Sean rhyme scheme, why are we doing this again? And then yeah, outside of that, one of the strongest songs is Deeper, which is a PND song. Like PND is the highlight of the song. The other strongest song is Pimmy's Dilemma, which is an interlude. Again, Drake has got nothing to do with it. Like, I just feel like Drake needed to innovate for especially how much pressure was on this out with the Super Bowl. Drake needed to innovate and it didn't happen. And I was just like, why? Why are we getting the same R&B album again? And it's just like so low effort.
Is there one strong record here? One banger? I mean, I expected Drake gives us 21.
I'd say Deeper. Also, maybe Crying in Chanel. I liked Crying in Chanel. Outside of that, Give Me a Hug, ripping off a better Drake feature.
As people kept saying that this is more of Drake doing Drake, like the traditional Drake sound, the auto-tune, the melodies, the singing ish. And I felt like it kind of reminds me of the late career album where the guy returns to their old style because they don't really have any more ideas.
I think it's not so much exactly that, but it is a little bit that. T-Pain had brought up a point which I believe could be very true because a lot of artists do this, and as an artist, we do this, is that T-Pain said that this sounds like songs that didn't make the album for other albums or a P&D album or Drake's album, and then Drake just slapped P&D on him, or P&D had the songs and didn't make an album and Drake got put on. So it sounds like these are songs that we had that were sing songs that weren't the hits or weren't the ones that we knew were going to go or put money behind them, and let's put them out. You know what I'm trying to say? So because it doesn't feel like any of them are even trying to be, Marvin's Room or, like something that has any value. But Marvin's Room, to counteract that a little bit, Marvin's Room wasn't. I don't think he knew that was going to be something great for his catalog. It's just him actually experimenting and him doing something new, because there's nothing like Marvin's Room before Marvin's Room. Now there's a million things that have evolved since then that he sounds like he's copying an old version of himself that people have already evolved past. That's the reality. It's like so many people have taken Drake's sound and evolved it that if you're doing your own sound from back then, it feels like you are behind and dated. That's kind of where it sounds like for me. And like I knew the flows before I listened to this. I knew the melodies. I knew the flows before I got there. So I'm like,
so annoying. The album is so predictable. I also, because I did an Instagram story the week before it dropped, I was like, he's definitely gonna have one rap song where he just rebuts everybody, because it's the same thing he did with Honestly Nevermind, where he had Jimmy Cooks and he just has one rap song and he just rebuts everybody. And I'm just like, you shouldn't be that predictable as an artist. like it's just like, why do I turn up for your album?
It's five. It's kind of five.
Why?
This starts 5 whack albums in a row.
I liked Her Loss, by the way. I liked Her Loss.
That is the only one that could possibly argue out of it. But I mean, it's not. There's a lot of whackness on there. But like, even if you're saying, okay, it's 4.5, because that's not a great Drake album that you would put alongside Scorpion and Views and whatever when he was really good.
I think the second half of R&B on Her Loss, I do not care for. It's the same meandering writing. But the first half, that like first 5-6 track run is really strong for a Drake album, even for some of his other ones.
The thing that I keep coming back to, that Drake fans want to always talk about numbers, and Green reminds us that the core of Drake's numerical superiority currently are records that are 5 to 8 years old. So he is not actually the number one rapper in the world right now, because he's not giving you hot shit right now. He's coasting on the hot shit that he made years ago.
This is true. This is true. I mean, to a number standpoint or success, anybody else, what his numbers are doing is astronomical. We cannot act like Drake is not an astronomical stat machine. You know what I'm saying? We can't act like that. No, in general, because he's still, even with this, because we were all interested, the numbers are the numbers. He still had a good first week, and he's going to still have a good first week. The numbers are the numbers. It's astronomical compared to the average artist. When you're that high, how far can you fall down? It's going to take a long time. So we can't say that he's...
Compare him to himself, not to...
If you compare, the average artist. I want to say that so people could understand. I'm saying that for the audience, but comparison to himself, his numbers and the best of him is behind him. He did 1 million in a week before. We're talking about people who've broken records. The records that they're trying to promote that he breaks now are things that are not even close to his highest achievements, right? So he pales in comparison to himself. Now, the quality as far as like critically and quality of his music, I'm not going as far as what Toure says, because he's just a Drake hater, but I'm not going her loss being half good, half bad. I think that's kind of like Drake in the later year of his space, or in general. I think after If You're Reading It's Too Late, everything's kind of half good, half bad. It seems like with incredible hits, with incredible peak performance on hits that I think even Jimmy Cook's great song, it's a hit. right?
Yeah, no, Chili Peppers is a banger.
So I think he's always has that ability, which is what something Tory brought of, like, he could bring in a hit. With this one, it feels like that's absent. And that's the first time I think a lot of people are feeling like that seems absent. Like that Give Me a Hug track, people try to act like that's the thing.
This is so backwards as well, because this is so backwards. How is Kendrick making a GNX album that has got more bangers than a Drake album? What are we talking about? This is the most backwards thing. Like, how are we... this frustrates me so much.
He's like, the world... James can't deal with the reality of the world right now. He's like, I don't know how this happened.
We have to stop expecting Drake to be the banger maker. He is not that guy now. He hasn't been that guy for several years. He's getting out-bopped by Kendrick, by other people. Like, other people are finding that shit, that magic in the studio more often. The other people are connecting with the great producers and putting the right ideas together more often. I mean, I feel like, you know, when you're at your height, like a Scorpion level, like you're like DMX 98, like when Kendrick last year, like when you are connecting with the audience, like 50-60% of the songs you're making are working, right? Mm-hmm. When you get down to a lower level, you know, maybe 1 out of 10 songs you're making are working, but like that still can be a very profitable business. Drake is dropped down to like 1 out of 20 or less. I mean, this is no bangers. There's every other, usually there's one song that I can't even front. Like, okay, fine. Like the nigga's that much of a hit maker that I can't even front. There's nothing here. And the 0 for 21 is what really gets at me. Not like that you couldn't even do it once. Like that's fucking weird. Like you've lost.
It is a little weird. We got a super chat that says SS for you, SSS for you, or $sign for you. On sale for $5 right now. Facts. So the joint's on sale. Like the album's on sale. So, and to be I know the business.
Is that true?
Yeah, they said that. I don't know. We could check on it. I'll look on it real quick because it might be on Apple Music for $5. But one thing that I know is that they got that album, or they're pushing on marketing dollars to get people to make TikToks and social media content for it, for just like any other album. Not right, but usually Drake albums aren't in that pool where he's getting people to do that on a broadcasted, hey, we'll pay you up to $700 if you do dances to our songs. Usually it's behind the scenes more, where it's like, let me get this influencer the song, and then they make it a thing because Drake's brand is so successful. But right now they're like pushing the album and their marketing dollars in all those spaces, just like any other artist would try to get it out. And that to me is kind of interesting and telling.
You know what's so corny to me? That he mentions Melissa Ford. I mean, everything, but he mentions Melissa Ford and takes a shot at Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Right? And like, if you wanted to take a shot at Joe, there are things you could say, but then you say some bullshit, and it's like, you're whack, dude. You're so corny.
Yes, I think
the other part is also. No, go ahead.
No. You the guess.
Oh yeah, no. I was gonna say the other part is also. I find it so funny that Joe Budden lives in Drake's head rent free, kind of, because like the whole reason that For All the Dogs Scary Hours edition even happened is because Joe Budden said that Drake should stop making rap with young people, because it's when he did the collab with Yeet, and then Drake went on a massive rant on Instagram and was like, I travel in airplanes and you are on a podcast, and then proceeded to do what he said to prove him wrong and made the album. So I'm just like, you can't really critique him when he kind of dictated, like, he dictated really that EP happening in the first place, because he felt the need to prove himself to his contemporaries. So I just don't, especially after losing a rap battle, like taking a shot at Joe Budden. It's just like, what are you doing?
The shots at other people is what makes him look like such a bit. I mean, like it would be DeMar DeRozan and Serena and this one and that one and LeBron. Oh my God! Like, what you're crashing out as far as shooting at other people and not even coming with a coherent argument against Kendrick's just weirdo shots. Like, add to that UMG, and you know what's really fucking weird, Green? Posting pictures of like Lucian Grange's, is it his daughter or his granddaughter?
It's his daughter-in-law. It's his daughter-in-law. So it's Elliot Jake Grange's. Also, the whole thing is so. Why would you play into this narrative that like you have something against women? The only thing he's directly said is to Lucian Grange's daughter-in-law and Serena's former agent. Like, why would you play into this, especially when you've already sued UMG for defamation? Like, I just feel like this is just not well thought out. I'm so
I think that's just the whole thing. I think that's the entire thing, is that we know and we realize and recognize that this man hasn't really thought any of this stuff out, and the whole euphoria idea of him spiraling is out there. But let me hit this live chats right here. Let me get these super chats. We got that
official BNA Music 88.
Yeah, read that, because I don't even see what it says.
That F a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit line is why Not Like Us has spanked him so bad he missed the whole plot on why rap exists. Yeah, I think so. I think that
completely. Matt Hemming goes, Prof Sky said it. This album is for lonely men who think it's romantic to look a woman in the eye when you objectify her. That's freaking great.
Professor Sky said it's for lonely men who think it's romantic to look a woman in the eye
when you objectify.
Wow,
Professor Sky, friend of the show.
That's a dunk.
But we didn't. The other.
That's a bar. That's a dunk.
Yeah.
This is the other thing of like of the point he's making is like also the whole manosphere part of this, of just like so much of the. It's just so. The more I think about this, the more this just annoys me. Like Drake has just learned nothing. He's learned nothing. He's still doing the same manosphere. It's the other woman's fault and it's not mine that he was doing on all of his other R&B songs. I'm just like, how do you go through a rap beef and receive this much critique and nothing changes? Like,
well, because it's not your fault. In his brain, it's never gonna be like someone like that. It would never be your fault. In a rap beef, if I'm in a beef with someone, anything that they say to me, they're lying. This is not right. They're lying, and that's not true. And then you go ahead and do those stuff, but only the crowd can see that. It's very common to not see your flaws. We know that, right? It's very common to observe everything and see everybody's flaws. It's very common for us to be like, oh, I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? And someone can check it out. But when you're like narcissistic, you have everyone around you as yes man, it's even more common, and it's actually detrimental.
Hey, you know what? I woke up this morning thinking about how through all the conversation in this year-long and unending beef, we still don't really know where this started. And when I say this, I don't just mean Kenny and Drake. And it may have started from Control, and it may have been like Drake alone does not understand hip hop, so he didn't understand the mention in Control where Pusha T and everybody else was like, J. Cole was like, oh, I get it. It's sport. It's competitive. He wasn't talking about anybody specifically. He's just like, roar, I'm the leader of the generation. I'm the best rapper ever. Great. And Drake was like, no. He greeted me warmly after that. So he's a hypocrite. So then he's on with Elliott Wilson and Angie Martinez and all these people dissing Kendrick over and over and over in interviews. But there's more than that, because it wasn't just Kenny and Drake. It was 20v1. It was all these people who really liked Drake before, or at least rocked with him at some point, who were like, yes, fuck Drake, fuck Drake. It was like that scene in the Avengers movie, right? Where like all these people show up beside him like, oh my God, like Metro Boomin 2 and Future 2 and Rock 2 and fucking Rick Ross, like everybody is with that nigga. Yeah, we were all like, "Fuck you, Thanos!" Like, God damn. So that is more than control. That is not control. That is something else. And I'm like, that's like he's.
Are you saying
fucking,
why are the 20 collecting against him?
yes,
More so,
yes.
it has to be more than, yeah, it's more than, it's because control has nothing to do with that, but the control being the catalyst of the dysfunction of his perspective of what hip hop in the industry is at that time, I think makes a lot of sense, because you're talking about, like what I said, if we go further back, if we're talking about hip hop started as a competitive thing. Some people like to act like that's not a true thing, because we're not talking about just the battle. We're talking about how, if you're talking the 70s being a
Dancing.
horrible place and gangs are rampant in that area, and then now there's literal documented people talking about, yeah, we would used to be fighting, stabbing each other, trying to kill this other person, and we would set up a battle. We would actually dance or break dance or set up some sort of battle with hip hop to stop the beef. Like they would actually happen. So that means that that element that existed there found an outlet for it not to be so destructive. Moving forward, hip hop grows. Hip hop becomes this money machine. Even in the mid '80s, say there's some type of, the rappers weren't considered gangsters. No one thought that these people were gangsters in the '80s. That they weren't. You weren't trying to even be gangsters.
Right.
There's a big difference between
in the 80s, they would be like, I see the gangsters in the hood. Right. It was later when we got people who were like, I'm the
Think
gangster.
about the biggest rappers in the mid to late '80s. What? Run DMC, P, right?
Four Righteous Teachers was big. Ice-T was big. Late 80s, Rakim was huge.
Okay.
Run DMC was huge. LL was still big.
Are those rappers considered Ice-T, obviously, but I don't think Ice-T was as big as Run DMC and PE, Public Enemy.
No, he wasn't as big, but he might be able to get on a Fresh Fest tour. But yes, no, you're right.
But Run DMC was like doing their own tour. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, Run DMC, like you said, is like they're from the space. They talk about the element. They talking about like where this shit comes from. But that real like Coogee rap and like hustler, I'm actually a street,
I'm the guy
nigga mentality comes later 90s, right?
Yeah.
That comes 90s, right? So these are people like, yo, these guys is getting money, and I like this music. If you listen to a lot of those gangster rappers, they thought that them talking about gangster shit might not even be entertaining. Even Eazy said that. Like, I live this shit. This is not entertaining. That's not what Run DMC's talking about. So why would people want to listen to me talk about this gangster shit, right? They put that element into there. It gets promoted. So what I'm trying to say about that is, like, real street nigga shit is not connected to hip hop the way that people feel like it is, because real street niggas be like, I don't want you to. This is what I mean by this. Real street niggas who are like, I don't want you to say my name or anything. I'm not about no rap beef. You say something to me, it's over. It's up. I don't beef with people because I don't know anything other than it has to go this way. That's like a real person from that element, right? Now, someone who understands hip hop, it's like, it doesn't have to go that way. This is the spirit of competition. We understand it. That's how battle works. People like battle rap, real battle rap. There's the whether it's I'm forgetting one of my favorite battle rappers who's a Crip. What's my guy's name right now? I'm sorry, I forgot my guy's name. Someone in the comments might do it, but he's a Crip. He's people are talking about his set. They're battling with that, and he understands the realm. He talked about this. He understands the realm that he is. We are here to disrespect each other. This is competitive, and I'm gonna dap you up after this. But if it was something else, if these things were said like in the street, it would be up. My point in saying is that someone who's looking at this as a fan, as someone that doesn't understand that dynamic a la Drake, is like, oh, if someone says that, it's got to be up, because that's what really being real is. So it's got to go all the way up. And he doesn't understand that a control verse being, yo, I want to kill your core fans. That's what Kendrick say. And it's like, I got love for you, but I want to be better than you, and you're going to be hurt by that. That comes from you not getting it. You think that you need to be this way, a street nigga.
if Kendrick's thesis in the battle is this nigga does not understand our shit, our African American hip hop culture, then the Control response is the first example of like, see, he doesn't get it. Everybody else understood. It's just a sport. I'm just playing the game. Drake got his feelings hurt. And Kendrick's anger in the battle to me reflects, you don't belong here. You're not one of us. You're gentrifying. You're a colonizer. You're fucking it up. Get the fuck out of here. Stop saying the N-word. You're not like us. But I'm like, was it not there before the Control verse? Did he not hate this nigga before then? Because I'm like, where like we heard the Metro Boomin story where he was like, I can't tell you the whole thing, but he knows what he did, and wink wink, the girl between us, and we know what he did with Lil Wayne's girl when she was in prison, and he doesn't even have to fuck your girl for you to want to kill him. Just trying to fuck your girl would be like, I'm gonna kill this fucking nigga. So he must have been trying to fuck lot of people's girls to where he did the wrong fucking shit. And now niggas is like, we want to kill fucking Drake. And they maybe couldn't because he was so big. But then when Kendrick changed everything, they were like, now, because I've been waiting to punch you in the face because you tried to fuck my girl. I know you did. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of rumors about.
I think there was just a ton of. I mean, you were about to say the same thing, but there was just a ton of rumors behind the scenes of certain stuff that happened. I know even that Metro thing you said. A lot of like Metro himself, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but Metro himself said that it wasn't over a girl and that it was something else, and that if he explained what it actually was, then it would make both of them look crazy. So I think there's just a lot of which is insane. So I think there was just a lot of crap that Drake did behind the scenes, and that wasn't even just the whole women thing. And I think he just ended up pissing off enough people that, and even Kendrick, it wasn't the first time that he really tried to like comfort. Like people talk about like Family Ties being the first actual Drake shot.
He pissed these people off so much, even while he was helping them make a lot of money, that they were still like, fuck Drake, even though rocking with him is the easiest way to make another bag. Like you are a real dick. If I don't even, you know what I mean? I don't even care. I can get another bag fucking with any guy. I don't even care. He's such a dick. What could you have done that make you such a dick? I don't want another mill. I mean, like, and none of these people are poor, but everybody wants another mill or whatever. Like,
well, in general, we know that in this society,
I would put up with a lot for a nigga who could get me another bag. I would, right?
Well, people argue and fights happen. Money, relationships. And when I say relationships, it could be with women or your friendships. These are the things that people fall out about, right? Like that's what happens within our society. We understand that. So someone saying that, oh, you made an album with this guy, but you said you were gonna make an album with me, and that gets me money, or you stopped the track from going out. I could not mess with you because of that. When you used my cultural currency to get a hit for your next hit, but then you're saying I can't get this from you, you could feel a way about that. So when people use that thing like, oh, Drake put all these people on, we always got to remember the fact that he's using cultural cachet from these other artists to boost himself up. So you should be returning that favor and giving people love on things. If you feel like that's that loyalty or relationship you got, as well as the women thing, it's like people say talk about relationships with women, whether the rumors is that there was things that like dedicated relationships, wives, and all these type of things that could have been involved in it. So that could be a thing. And then money-wise, it's about hitting people over the head with crazy feature fees when you said you might not have done it, or having huge pieces of songs when you shouldn't have had the huge piece of the song. There's things that people can be mad about, and all these things that we don't know about specifically, but can be valid reasons for someone not to be cool with people that in everyday life, the three of us wouldn't be cool with someone to be like, oh, I don't trust that guy because he did me wrong in this way. And now that we don't trust you, some shit some shit happens, and now the guy that never liked you in the first place, he gets wind of all this information. He's like, "Oh, y'all ain't fucking with him right now. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting, and I'm off too. I'm by myself. Got my own label. I'm going in. No one can stop me." And then puts a simple jab out there. So it's really that simple.
I'm still wondering, Green, and you can vote on this too, James. Does like so Future and Metro say, let's make an album. Okay, let's get X, Y, and Z on features. Okay, let's call Kendrick. Does Kendrick say, thanks for the call, I'm going to destroy Drake on this? And they're like, great, we're down. Or does he just send in his verse and they're like, oh, well, he started the car. I guess we got to get in it now.
I think they think that verse was the control verse. I think that they're like, oh, they gave you the song. Everyone's privy to information, and he sends that verse just like Big Sean got that verse, and he's like, oh, he said it's fuck the big three. It's just Big Me, because that's not a huge that's a hey, you better, I'm ready to diss you, but it's not like personally disrespectful. All he talked about his music and his position in rap. That is not a personal jab at this human being, right? So
you're saying first person shooter is not. You're saying first person shooter is not a personal jab.
It's not of course it's not a personal jab, but I'm saying Kendrick's response on like that is like something like it's competitive. It's perfectly. It's just fuck the big three. It's just Big Me, and the people who are on the song, Metro, Boomin, and Future, I don't think that they're asking for him to do that. I think they're like, oh shit, Kendrick went in. This is like a control moment. So of course I'm putting it out because this is going to be a moment.
Wait,
well, then what happens to
Wait, I'm sorry, James. You think like that is like control in that it's just competitive and not more like not like us? Like this is not like us, where I'm like punching him in the face the first time and there's no return from this.
I would definitely want to hear what James was about to say. I'm saying I think that's what they were assuming in this moment. Like, this is great for the publicity of this song. I don't think that they are like, it's on, time to destroy Drizzy. I don't think that's Future's mind state personally at that time. I think it's like, oh, that's what you want? All right. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want? That's all right. Because it doesn't mean that Future hates Drake because Kendrick said that.
James.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm just trying to make sense of the rest of the album. I also don't have the timeline of what's on the We Don't Trust You and what's on We Still Don't Trust You. But yeah, one of the songs is on, like, Future talks about, like, Sneak's diss and I don't understand. Like, Future has his own bars for Drake. Same with The Weeknd, where he says, like, when they've got leaks in their operation, like, both of them are firing back. It was the same on, I think it was on We Still Don't Trust You, where ASAP basically says, like, oh, I was with whatever her name is, Sophie Brousseau, before you were, to Drake. So, like, I feel like they were privy to it before. So I don't know what that timeline is of, like, we're making a diss album, Kendrick, do you want to be involved? Or is it like Green said, where it's like, here's the record, do what you want, and then Kendrick did a control, and they're like, oh.
I don't know if we're making I think that there's clearly an issue, obviously. Future's obviously okay with that being on his record, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So clearly but I don't think that if you let that on your record, it instantly makes you a full-on enemy as
How
Future.
could it not? How could it not, Green?
No, because the way that Future's communicated in his publication, when he was talking about, nobody asked me how I felt about. He said that on this interview. He said, nobody asked me how I felt about putting this thing on there. Nobody asked me how I felt. So if you would say that later on, that means you feel like We Don't Trust You is like not exactly a end all to be all with our relationship. If you could say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're saying, Future saying, if you had asked me I would have said, no, I'm not hating on you. The nigga wanted to get his shit off. Like, it's just this.
That's what he
So
said in the
Future,
article. Yeah.
it's just a sport of hip hop. Like, I didn't think the nigga was coming for your face. That's what you're saying.
That's what the article says. Nobody asked me how I felt about it.
Article, yeah.
So
I disagree.
Yeah, when Future first hears Kendrick's verse, and I'm like picturing him in the studio, they press play on the shit, and Kendrick is going off on Drake. You know he's like, oh, this gonna start some shit right here. Like, he knows it's not just a Control verse.
No, but Control did start some shit. I'm talking about. I'm just saying that he doesn't think that it's gonna be the ending. What happened to Drake in the last year? I don't know if anyone expected that. None of us did. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a
Pacer Daisy on the chat says, I don't see people talking about the lyrics in Father Time. Dot says,
facts.
When Kanye got back with Drake, I was slightly confused. Yeah. The hate is real. What you mean, Green?
James, you break that down because
so Father Time, Kendrick says, when Kanye got back with Drake, I was slightly confused. Guess I'm not mature as I think. Got some healing to do. The whole song is about his relationship with his father and basically how competitive he became because of that, how like toxic that dynamic was with his father. Like he says, like daddy issues kept me competitive. Like I don't care what the narrative. I'm that nigga. Like he's putting himself. He's making a point about like paternal relationships, but also he's saying this is the reason why I'm competitive. And also, this will always be a part of me. And so I feel like a lot of people look at that song and are like, oh, like Kendrick's healed like his paternal. That's not the point. The point is that he's contending with it, but it will always be a part of him. And I feel like that's why people
That's the continuous thing I always like to say is that this guy's always telling you that he's flawed and what his flaws are. And just because you're going to be aware of it doesn't mean that those flaws now go away. Which is one problem I have with the thing that Kendrick loves to do, which I like, but in Mr. Morale, the only issue I really have is how he ties that album up so neatly in a bow with the whole ending and saying that, oh, we've broken the generational curse and all that statement. I'm not a fan of that because that album is so much about you being confused and looking deep within yourself and having these dualities, right? So I don't like you kind of like wrapping that up in a bow the same way you've done on T-Pab, the same way that you've done on Good Kid, where those are great narrative stories that need to be ended superbly. But I'm a go back to this statement about him having a problem with Kanye being with Drake and stuff like that. It's like, he's had that issue with Drake. Element on Damn was supposed to have a Drake and Big Sean diss on there. We heard that snippet of him doing. So this has been the thing he's been like tackling and battling with himself. Like, yo, I gotta go at these niggas. He's always wanted to do that, but clearly something has held him back. And then when he had no restraints, whatever that was, he felt like he had no restraints. He felt free to go at it.
I think it was Mr. Morale, to be honest, because like if you think of the infidelity stuff that he talks on there, like I feel like he knew because Drake's whole perspective when he was talking on his Rap Radar interview of why he lost the beef to Pusha T is he was like Pusha's chess move was just the salacious information, right? So Kendrick knows that if he got into a rap battle with Drake, that his way to win is going to be salacious. So if there's all this information about my infidelity that's not on the table, then it's really easy for Drake to go, look at all the stuff you've done. And then like Drake wins, even if Kendrick's more lyrical, so I think that was at least partly why Mr. Morale had to happen first.
I have a question from Felicia. I always answer her questions because she always got questions for me. She be coming at me. What do you mean you don't like him breaking generational curse? Huh? Please elaborate. What I'm trying to say is that album the album is him being these two sides, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. It's him showing his flaws, him going through this therapy. There is no answer in that therapy, but it's almost presented in that statement within the narrative like there was an answer. Like there is a space. Yes, we know that you can be working on yourself. I think it would be better for it to be about I'm continuously working on myself, because that's why some people see that Mr. Morale album and be like, how can you go from Mr. Morale to GNX? You just were this guy that went through therapy and you're so cleared now. It's like he didn't really say that on that album, but if you just skim through and you hear I broke the generational curse, you're now thinking that this man thinks that he's freaking Eckhart Tolle himself or walking around like he's the Dalai Lama. No, he doesn't think he's the Dalai Lama. He says, look at all this shit that I've went through. It made me who I am. I see my flaws. I am trying. So I wish that the headline, because Generational Curse is a headline on the album. It's not a line in the songs. The songs are perfect. I'm saying that headline makes the interpretation different. And that's my issue with it, Felicia, because you always come at me and my takes.
James, James, I haven't seen you in a minute. What'd you think of the halftime show?
That's true.
The halftime show was sick. Yeah, no, I did my 10-minute Instagram video. I always love every time there's something massive. I know I can take the liberties on how long I make my video on Instagram, and yeah, my video was so long. But it was just shy of 200K, so I was happy about it.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I feel like the first time I watched it, I caught the whole Uncle Sam narrative, but I didn't catch some of the controller stuff the first time I watched it through. I think I was so hung up on like, is he actually gonna do Not Like Us for the Super Bowl? And then the second time watching it through, I was like, oh, there's all this stuff.
It's funny.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That's why I think Drake is like the best foil that Kendrick could have had, because he helped feed into this narrative that maybe he won't be able to do Not Like Us.
Yeah, exactly.
Always gonna do Not Like Us.
And this is why, Drake being so predictable was just like, it just helps Kendrick's case. Like, yeah. But I think honestly,
it made it this whole thing of like, is he gonna do it? Is he not? And he's playing into it. You know, they love to sue. You're like, so Drake's like almost like on the stage at that point without being on the stage, right? Because he can just invoke him on like, they love to sue, and it became like doing Not Like Us was evidence of Kendrick's courage, that even though they like to sue, even though they like to hold me down, I'm going to be me anyway. I'm going to do Not Like Us at the Super Bowl because I'm so courageous, because I'm Kendrick. You were always going to do Not Like Us. Like, you made it a bigger thing than it ever had to be.
Yeah, I think also the other part, because we've been talking about this whole like playing the game thing. I saw you guys talking to Cole about it as well. But I think the thing that's so clever about the show is Kendrick basically treated the halftime like it's tour date 1 of his GNX tour. Like even in the middle, when he's like, ladies and gentlemen, this is GNX, is his I'm Okay Llama, etc. Like he just treated it like show 1 for GNX, which is so clever, especially using it as like the whole foil of like not doing your older work. Like that's such a clever flip of like giving an excuse to just perform GNX and like promo your album. So yeah, I think there was just so much going on there.
I'm sure you saw this, but like 3/4 of the way through, the stage was shaded to be the PG Lang symbol.
What, as in like the dancers on the stage?
Yes, when it was like, when you saw like there's the column for the P, for the up and down part of the P, and then the circle, and I'm like, oh shit, he did the PG Lang symbol with the stage. And I think a lot of people saw that as like the prison yard when they were focused on that middle section, like 3/4 of the way through. Like, so it seemed like a prison yard or whatever. But like, then they lit up I'm like, this nigga is so brilliant. I love the Uncle Sam, Uncle Tom, and that he's in conversation with America, with blackness, with white supremacy, how to get along in white society, which is such an amazing relation to what happened afterward, where you saw a lot of white people like, oh, it wasn't for us, we hated it. Like, and he put that voice on the stage to say like, this show's not going good. You need to be, you're too ghetto. Like, don't fuck it up by doing Not Like Us. Like, that was
Beautiful
kind of
shit.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, to James's breakdown, which is brilliant. Please go to his Instagram. Say your Instagram one more time.
JFMUSIX, then X.
Yeah. Beautiful breakdown. It's 10 minutes on Instagram. You're going to sit there for the whole thing. It's like having that entire. I want to know from you, like being from the UK, because obviously you get a lot of media from America. Like, you catching all those nuances. One is amazing because you're from the UK. We weren't raised here. But you still can get all this information. So what I think is so amazing is that how black this one is in the diasporas everywhere, how we all speaking to each other. That part of it. And two, like, if you can get it, how come somebody from this country, no matter what demographic you are, not understand what's being said when it's about this country? But you get it, and you've never, I don't even know if you stepped foot in this country before.
I went to US when I was like 13 once.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm now 21, so.
But he's of the culture. He's of the culture in a real way.
I want to speak on that. I get why, but I want to speak on how much of this is about the culture for you to be able to receive this information.
Yeah, the same split even happened in the UK. Because you've got to remember, even though the Super Bowl is a US event, like it becomes a discussion for everyone. But yeah, we had this massive discussion in the UK where we had the same split of people going like, oh, like we got all the references, but no one cares. And I was like, that's insane. Also, a lot of the people saying that didn't get all the references. So yeah, I think there's two sides. I think one side is chosen ignorance, like people who just want to turn their brains off, which for me, I'm just like, why would you want that? These are the same people who will complain about like, oh, like from the UK anyway, like, oh, why is Central C the biggest artist and not Dave when someone does something that has actual artistry and you're complaining that you can't turn your brain off? Like, what are we talking about? And the other side is people who genuinely don't get it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But also, if you genuinely don't get it and also have no openness to wanting to get it, then who can help you? Like, what do you want from this ordeal?
Yeah, what did you want from this ordeal? They wanted to be pacified. That's the real reality. And the chat's going off on how like America as a whole has CTE, which is hilarious. but we got some live chats too, where it's Kendrick dissed Drake on Mask Off and King's Dead. Shout out to Rap Latte from Oakland, California. Shout out to Oakland. I love Oakland. Thank you for the super chat. Sure. Harley Quinn also said, shout out to Jay. Very well educated young man, and I appreciate your insight. This is a college educated, about to graduate. When you graduate?
I graduate July, yeah.
Graduate in July. From knows everything about music from a real musical standpoint, and is all about the culture. And he's about to be on my next album, How to Rap in America. And he needs to stop dropping his own music because I hate him and why he ain't dropping his songs.
I'm working
drop your
on
music.
Okay.
You a young guy.
Green,
you should be
I
out
think
here working.
on your album, I think you need interludes where you are explaining the subject and how to rap in America and like the theme. You know what I mean? So like could do like interviews that become a deeper explanation of like what you're trying to do on the album.
3,000%. I'm super ahead of you on that, but as well as want to add that into there as far as because people need context. People need context, not just slaps as what we're talking about. Some songs for the revolution. That's gonna be your album. So we gotta work on your album too. Some songs for the revolution.
I still can't believe that. That's so funny.
Don't show me how to make music. Don't fuck around and let a nigga learn how to make some fucking music. You be like, wow, we used to be able to get a rap on the phone.
I'll teach you how to rap good enough to make some bops.
Shit, don't let me get in there.
But This person said, "What's your?" I know he's trolling, but I want us to laugh at it. What's your favorite Kendrick collab? Imagine Dragons, Taylor Swift, U2, Maroon 5, The Lonely Island.
Okay.
Hashtag for the culture. This is a guy trying to act like, oh yeah, you made songs with these people, therefore he's not a part of the culture now.
Wait, did you not say Lonely Island for the culture? Like what are we talking about right now?
3,000%. This dude's trying to troll. I mean, I'm glad we get some trolls in here. Okay, another chat. One for you and one for the revolution. I just love the word revolution. I hear it in Prince's voice, but Dave Chappelle making it Prince's voice. But so moving from the halftime, which we know is so great, and the aftermath of that, people not getting it, because I love the like right away America's knee-jerk reaction of not getting it. Have you guys seen the millions of TikToks of people doing Kendrick's dance to Not Like Us from the performance?
Grandmas on ski slopes.
In China, Tokyo.
You know what I've loved? I saw somebody put the sound of Kendrick starting into Not Like Us to Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing. And remember the kids dancing in Matilda, that amazing dance sequence of the kids dancing, like somebody put it to that. Like, so
I never seen the full Matilda.
I'm sure I actually just made a TikTok because I'm sure there's a lot of white people who are suddenly into Not Like Us and have no idea what the fuck he's saying. Right? When he's like, man down, call it Amber Lamb, tell him breathe, bro. They're like, what the fuck? I don't even, it's just an assault of words at that point.
Yeah,
like,
but they know say
saying,
Drake. They know say Drake. He's like, why did he say Drake?
Say Drake. Say Drake.
They know that. But it's crazy how this song keeps getting bigger, because how big can you get? Like, think about that. If everyone on TikTok is doing this dance and they're doing it to the live version from the Super Bowl, right?
But
so the song keeps getting bigger.
The song is so catchy. The meaning of it, the feeling of it. I think some people relate to the pettiness of it. Some people relate to the catchiness of it. I saw this awesome video I love where this girl was like finally listening to the songs from the battle. And she's walking around her house cleaning.
I saw that. I saw that. That was so funny.
She's like, I can't believe that
like
he's
listening to Euphoria, being like, what the? I was like, that's hilarious.
It's been, you know what it's been, Green? It's been because like I'm like we did this in the weeks and months after these records dropped, and like a new audience of white people has discovered the song and the battle, and they're showing their excitement about it. And so I'm like,
that's so funny.
I'm kind of reliving it a little bit of like our joy that we had like that first week after the shit happened.
Wow, what a fall from grace. Say Drake. Say Drake.
Say Drake.
You know what's crazy is like my sentiment on all this. Like I'm talking about months before the battle. I was talking to my boy, and we were like, for no reason, we were like, Kendrick and Drake just need a battle. Like, because rap was boring. Yeah, we were just talking. Rap was boring. We're like, we know y'all don't fuck with each other. We're just like, y'all just, and we know that like, y'all should just do this. Like, y'all should just do this. And when it actually, and we were saying this for years, obviously, people have been saying it for years, but I'm saying it was months before the battle. And when it actually happened, for us, it was just such a sport that we were just like, whoever's punched first. It was a Tyson fight or any fight, right? And I didn't have the perspective of Drake as a human being and artist that I have now, where it's like, this guy literally took him out of hip hop for me. Like, I was, when freaking Mos Def was saying like so many SKUs, I'm dying laughing, but I'm saying like, no, Drake, you know, he's an MC. He's made these songs. Now I'm like, the dude is I'm trying to he's a pop. He really always was a pop star. He's just, that's it. And a weird one.
Kenny was.
No, not Kenny. I'm talking about Drake is 100% pop and not of the essence in this space right now. Yeah.
No, for sure. From the beginning of his career, I was like, this nigga should be battling Maxwell. or D'Angelo, right? Like if hip hop is a continuum, he lives close to the edge where you start getting into hip hop adjacent singers, right? Like Erykah Badu is one of us. Like Alicia Keys is one of us. Like they're hip hop adjacent. And I'm like, Drake, you're a rapper, but I feel like you're more like a hip hop adjacent singer than like actually in the culture, but you actually rap. So I was always like, this nigga.
And I'm talking about like that MC culture, because to me, whatever, it's hip hop forever. Drake's hip hop forever in the sense of like he's made these things, whatever. A writer wrote it for him, whatever. His presence and his space is there. It's solidified. I'm talking about it. No, there's nothing you could do to take away the fact that people did something with his music already. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, people already were listening to it. Black women loved Drake when he came out. Some black women still love Drake now. Some, obviously. But I'm saying, black women were his core fan base at some point. We got to recognize that was a reality. So I'm talking about,
and then it became black men.
Away. Yeah.
And then it became white men.
Yeah. But you can't take that reality away is my point. What I'm saying, though, that what has been taken away is that this dude came from a backpacker MC perspective, that we all understood that I'm a fan of that shit. And then I took that and made it pop. And we're like, yeah, you were a fan. You were not a part of. You were a fan. You were you were not in it. That's what I'm saying. The realization of like you're just a very big fan of this thing and didn't want to uphold any of the honor code in it. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, is there anything else we want to say? Is there any other super chats? Because our brother's gotta go in a second.
You know what I want to hear about just for a minute, like the touring life, because we hear about it, but you're like actually in it right now. You were in Cleveland, now you're in Chicago. You're about to get on a flight somewhere else. Like, just talk about like the reality of touring life that the average fan would not know.
All right. Jokes only. If offered right now, would Green take a Drake tour? That's what was added. Would Green take a Drake tour? I actually wouldn't. Like, dead ass, I would not go. Dead ass, I would not take a Drake tour.
Really?
Like, because I care too much. Like, I care about hip hop too much. I'm on a tour. I want to tour with 3 white rappers who love hip hop and like love hip hop from the essence. And that's part of the reason why I can be on tour with these guys and see this every night. I've been in places and been on shows and been on tours where it's been a good look for me or good look for us as a band, but I'm like, this crowd doesn't get it. The people I'm with don't get it. And I'm talking about, I'm looking at this like, there's a bunch of racist people in this crowd. But like, not like anyone could be racist, right? I'm talking about outwardly. This is just racism in the crowd. That's a different feeling where you're like performing for somebody that doesn't like you off top and doesn't even know you. Like, I don't know if that's ever been in a situation that you've ever been in, but I've been in that where you've been on a stage because you're like, oh, open for this guy, whatever. So what I'm trying to say is about that is like, I have too much integrity to be in a place where I don't feel comfortable or feel represents my honor code, because I'm an MC first, number one. I love this shit. I can't do anything else. We're on a freaking podcast talking about this shit every other day because we love this shit. So second part is touring and stuff like that. That's number one thing, is like people don't understand how you have to fuck with the people that you're like. Why would I go on tour and hate everybody just for money? That's crazy to me. I don't do things just for money. I personally, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try to make something out of something I love and see if I could get money from what I love and not be in a situation. But too many people do that. And it's every day you traveling. I'm in a hotel right now. Shout out to Marriott. I got this Marriott discount. So shout out to them. Shout out to them. Yeah. Shout out to Marriott. And it was my last show in Chicago. I pinned a comment. We got Ariel Smoke coming in. I'm gonna put Ariel in the green room for a second.
Real quick.
I'm gonna finish this up.
When I travel, I generally feel like shit, right? Like the whole airplane experience sucks, and they gotta travel to the hotel. But then you gotta get to your highest self and perform for 100 people, 200, whatever, 1,000 people, whoever comes out. right?
About
Like, and I'm like,
about 200, 215 last night in Chicago.
no, but
You
that
know
would
what I'm
be
talking
hard.
about?
I mean, that would be hard. I mean, whether 200 or 20,000, it doesn't matter. You got to
Yeah,
fucking
it's hard.
you're going to get up to the same highest self to rock for them. And like, that's hard. Like it would be easy for me if I'm like, I'm going to drive down the street and rock. But like, I got to fly, short night of sleeping, perform, right? Like people don't realize like that traveling is tiring as fuck, but you got to go way up high as a
Yeah,
performer
you got to be built.
in the midst of that.
You got to be built for that. I pinned this comment not only for my own ego. It says the Chicago show was great. Just hopped on the stream, right? The Chicago show, I gave it my all. I try to be very energetic. I'm charismatic. I interact with the crowd because that's the essence of hip hop is the call and response. And I make it something that you want to be at. And the number one thing is I'm comfortable and I feel great on stage. I've been doing this for a long time. And the reason why I'm saying that is that if you don't have a desire to be on that stage, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to push through energetically and you're not going to treat your body right to be able to do it. I'm not LeBron, but I don't eat bullshit. I try to get sleep. I'm in a van with people.
I was about to ask, what do you do to train? Because like performing is serious. It's not a joke.
Push-ups, and I was freaking running every day before I did the tour because I'm a fat ass and I was eating bad before I went on tour. But I gave my lungs some wind. That's why what Kendrick does, like I told you, base level is like what he did is insane, and you people. Like, what he did is insane as the technicality in rapping about it. He's running up and down a football field rapping. Rapping takes so much energy out of you. And yes, the travel takes so much energy. Talking to people after the show takes energy. You have to protect your voice. All these things are something you got to think about. And the number one thing you got to do is love this shit. And I love performing and I love rap and I love displaying it to people live in whatever capacity, and obviously people who care about it. And that's why I wouldn't go on a Drake show and be in Australia. Here's the reason why I want to say this. Drake performed at an after party in Australia, and he performed Marvin's Room. And he's singing Marvin's Room's the chorus. Do you know the chorus to Marvin's Room? He lets the crowd, he puts the mic out and lets the crowd sing the chorus. And it's, fuck that nigga that you love. The entire Australian white crowd said, fuck that nigga back to him. That's not happening in my presence. Bad. I can't do that.
That's so bad. I've also seen him like put his mic down sometimes. Like he would just put his mic literally down on the floor on stage and just not perform whole songs. And I'm like, great, nice flex. Great, you get to flex that your crowds know your songs, but also you're just not performing the song. Also, yeah.
No, but the whole crowd saying the N-word like that?
Yeah, that's
no, but they're saying the N-word, and there's the crowd, me looking at a crowd saying, fuck that. I can't do it, personally. I can't do that and close my eyes like, oh my God, you guys feel my pain. You guys feel, you feel this with me? Way. Are you feeling this?
No
I can't do that. Can we pull Ariel in for 5 minutes just to give him 5 minutes?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, I love that, Green. I love that, and I do want to hear more about that.
What up?
Ariel,
hey, Toure.
How are you?
What's up? Hey, KLC.
Yeah.
I'm good. How's the quality?
You're good.
Good enough.
Sound good.
Is the camera good?
So you tweeted this whole thing about Drake. Tell us the story. What's going on?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to the Deeper Picture. They do a lot of research and they have a YouTube channel. They have been just constantly like researching stuff and connecting dots and uploading stuff online and on Twitter. They are very good at what they do, and it's a group of them. But that's basically one of the many instances. It seems like for the Canadian white woman, she has been a lot of stuff that happened in 2023. Hanging with Diddy, like the St. Bart's, like Saint. I think it's St. Bart's. Like I can't remember. Like some island. A lot of interactions with underage girls, and I think around that same time you have a lot of stuff. It seems like it was happening around 2023. because you also have there was a yacht party. There's a famous yacht party where all these billionaires they get on their yachts. They go to this area in the on the water, and they have days of drug fueled sex. Jerry Jones, other billionaires. I think definitely Diddy. You had Cuba there. It's just all. It's very hedonistic,
but
like
this,
predatory.
but tell us about this specific story.
This was about apparently she was like a junior in high school. She was 17 at the time, and Aubrey had one of his middlemen go and he had one of his middlemen like just pick up a girl. She got to meet him. She got to go backstage, and alcohol and stuff we don't know about and that she hasn't said and he won't talk about ensued. But it's just like another line of it's along the history. It's a clear pattern of predatory behavior. The dude, I think he was. I think it's around the same time he was. It's All a Blur tour. Was it All a Blur? It's an All a Blur tour happening in 2023. There was also a situation with
the very beginning of the All a Blur tour, right? Because he started it with 21 Savage.
You said what?
Yeah, it would have been the beginning of the It's All a Blur tour. He started it with 21 Savage, right? And then afterwards it was with J. Cole.
Okay, yeah, so that's around the same time that he's involved in, allegedly, I'll say.
All right. Well, we're gonna stay up on that story. Ariel, thank you so much for that. This is fucking wild. James, thank you for coming in from England for another great show. Thank y'all for watching. That's our show. Thank you. We're out.